One of my favorite reactive effects to utilize in my Unreal Engine Reactive Visualizers is a randomized animated rotation upon receiving a MIDI to OSC trigger. Whether it be on the X, Y, or Z axis individually, or some combination of all three, I find this not only to be a fun reactive element, but a very satisfying one to watch as well. Thankfully, this is really easy to set up with Unreal Engine's blueprint system, and today I'll walk you through how to build this yourself. To start, download the Unreal Engine blueprint templates and MIDI to OSC MaxForLive devices on my GitHub page. These tools are how we'll not only convert the MIDI data in Ableton to OSC data for Unreal Engine, but it's also how we'll be parsing the incoming information so we can link the two pieces of software and trigger the effects. With that downloaded, open up the OSC template blueprint as found in the BP templates folder. This blueprint contains every point of connection you need as supplied by the MIDI to OSC MaxForLive device in Ableton. For this demonstration, we'll make use of the yellow MIDI on specific note section. So if we enter a MIDI note value of 60 in Ableton, all we have to do is set the value in the MIDI trigger notes tab on the outside of the blueprint, and we should be good to go. Now for the effect, start by adding any mesh you desire into the blueprint. For this example, I'll just use a simple cube. Place the cube into the event graph, drag off of it and connect it to an add local rotation object. Next, create a rotator variable and call it mesh rotation. Drop that variable into the event graph and select get mesh rotation. Connect it to the delta rotation input on the add local rotation object. Then add an event tick node and connect it to the final input of the add local rotation object. Next, create a new function and call it random rotation. Drop that function into the event graph and connect it to the output of the branch node as found on the MIDI on specific note section of the blueprint. Drag the mesh rotator variable into the event graph again, but select set mesh rotator this time around. Right-click mesh rotation and select the split pin option. This will individually expose the X, Y, and Z axes. Create 3 random point and range nodes and connect each one to the X, Y, and Z axes. Now for maximum control, let's create 6 more float variables and label them Xmin, Xmax, Ymin, Ymax, Zmin, and Zmax. Be sure to click the eye icons on the 6 new variables. That way you can easily alter the values on the outside of the blueprint without having to come back in and tweak things whenever you need. Connect each variable to the corresponding inputs on the random float and range nodes. Compile the blueprint and enter in the stock values of -1 for the minimum variables and 1 for the maximum variables. If you'd like the object to have a high probability of spinning faster, turn up these values as you see fit, or turn them down if you'd like things to rotate much slower. With all of that being said, this more or less covers this simple reactive effect. Be sure to play around with targeting individual axes and using a wide variety of objects for all sorts of fun reactive elements. If you'd be interested in more thorough breakdowns of my past reactive visualizers or effects, be sure to check out my playlist of past tutorials and walkthroughs, as I've covered everything from setting up MIDI triggered lights to triggering Niagara effects and more. If you have any questions or suggestions on how to improve things, be sure to let me know in the comments section below. Also, if you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all my future content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.